Hello, dear student. I'm your chemistry teacher, Miss Sunny.
Hey there. So, have you ever really thought about how an atom keeps all its electrons in order? It's not just a chaotic cloud of particles buzzing around. There's actually an incredibly elegant system at play. It's almost like a unique address for every single electron. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most important ideas in all of chemistry, electronic configuration. Here's the game plan, where I start with the atom's basic blueprint. Then we'll get into the three crucial rules that tell electrons where to go. After that, we'll actually practice writing these configurations out and see what happens when atoms become charged ions. And finally, we'll zoom out and see why this all matters so much in the big picture. Okay, let's jump right in. Before we can figure out where the electrons live, we have to get the layout of the house they're in. And that's the atom itself. So this is really the central puzzle we're trying to solve. You can have dozens of these electrons whizzing around. How on earth does an atom keep all of that organized and stable? Well, it's definitely not random. There's a very precise, very predictable order to the whole thing. For a long time, scientists pictured the atom like a tiny solar system. The old Bohr model, for example, showed electrons moving in these perfect, neat little circles. And hey, it was a great start, but we've learned a lot since then. The reality is, it's more complex. We now know that electrons are in these 3D zones called orbitals. So think less of a planet on a fixed track and more of a fuzzy cloud where you're likely to find an electron. And of course, we've got to remember our key players here. You've got the positive protons and the neutral neutrons, all packed tightly into the nucleus. But the real stars of our show are those tiny, negatively charged electrons. They're the ones on the move, and the delicate balance between their negative charge and the proton's positive charge, well, that's the key to everything that comes next. All right, so let's imagine for a second that an atom is a big hotel just for electrons. Now, you can't just have guests running wild, picking any room they feel like, right? There have to be rules. And in chemistry, we've got 3 non-negotiable house rules that tell every electron exactly where it belongs. Rule number 1 is the Aufbau Principle. You can just think of this as the ground floor first rule. See, electrons are fundamentally kind of lazy. They always want to be in the most stable, lowest energy spot they can find. So they'll always fill up the orbitals closest to the nucleus before even thinking about moving up to the higher floors. Next up, we have the Pauli Exclusion Principle. This is our 2 guests per room rule. Any single orbital, any one room in our hotel, can only hold 2 electrons max. But here's the really weird part. If 2 electrons are going to share a room, they have to have opposite spins. So one spins up and the other has to spin down. No exceptions. And our final house rule is Hunds rule. I like to call this the get your own room first rule. So if you've got a bunch of rooms that are all at the same energy level, like the 3 different p orbitals, the electrons will spread out. Each one will take its own empty room before they ever decide to pair up. It's brilliant, really, because it minimizes the natural repulsion they have for each other and keeps the whole atom nice and stable. Okay, so now that we know the house rules, we can actually start filling out the guest registry. Let's walk through exactly how to write the electronic configuration for any neutral atom you can find. It's actually a really straightforward 3-step process. First, just find your element on the periodic table to get its atomic number, which we call Z. Step 2. For any neutral atom, the number of electrons is exactly the same as that atomic number. Easy enough. And finally, you just start placing those electrons into the orbitals, making sure you follow the 3 rules we just went over. Let's try it with a real one, like sodium. Okay, step 1, we find sodium on the periodic table. Its atomic number is 11. Step 2, since it's neutral, 11 protons means we have exactly 11 electrons to place. And now for step 3, we just fill them in according to the rules. 2 go in the 1s orbital, 2 in the 2s, we can fit 6 in the 2p, and that last 11th electron finds its home in the 3s orbital. And boom, there it is, 1s squared, 2s squared, 2p6, 3s. But of course, atoms aren't always neutral, right? They can gain or lose electrons. And when they do, they become charged ions. This is kind of like a hotel guest checking out early or a new one showing up unexpectedly. It changes the registry, so let's see how that works. There are 2 flavors of ions. Cations are positive, and that's because they've lost 1 or more electrons. To figure out how many electrons are left, you just subtract the charge from the atomic number. Then you have anions, which are negative. They've gained extra electrons. So for them, you add the charge to the atomic number. It's that simple. This is a perfect example. Let's look at fluorine. A normal neutral fluorine atom has 9 electrons, which you can see in its configuration. But when it becomes the fluoride ion with a -1 charge, that means it has gained 1 electron. So we just add 1 to its count, giving it a total of 10. And that extra electron fills up its outer shell completely, changing the configuration from 2p5 to the much more stable 2p6. Now here's where it gets really, really cool. Remember that sodium ion from earlier? It lost an electron, and this fluoride ion just gained 1. Well, now they both have the exact same electron configuration. 1s squared, 2s squared, 2p6. And guess what? That's a configuration of neon, a superstable noble gas.
This is no accident. A lot of the time, atoms will gain or lose electrons specifically to achieve this perfect, stable state. So we've learned the rules, we've written out some of these configurations, but let's ask the big question. Why? Why is this one of the most important concepts you'll learn in chemistry? What is the bigger picture? Well, an atom's electronic configuration basically dictates its entire chemical personality. It's the reason that elements in the same column of the periodic table act so much alike. It's because their outer shell configurations are similar. This one idea explains everything, from how reactive an element is, to how big it is, to its magnetic properties. This knowledge is literally the foundation for creating everything from the silicon chips in our phones to life-saving medicine. And that really leaves us with this one final powerful idea. The specific arrangement of a few tiny electrons, all governed by just 3 simple rules, provides the complete blueprint for an element's entire identity. So if you know an atom's configuration, can you predict its personality? You absolutely can. And that right there is the true power of chemistry.